It could have been anybody's child in the back of that car in this moment. Back to my point, and I'm going to finish up for you. It was 150 years now since the abolishment of slavery. Pastor Raver, we have known physical slavery longer, 244 years, versus having abolition, the abolishment of slavery, without the secured right for only 150 years. History is not over yet. History is still being written every day. The same God with Moses is the same God that lives today. The same God with Joel then is the same God that lives today on Pulaski Street. The same God. Tell your children. Mr. Tillis and others, he told the truth about Curie High School. I had forgotten about that now. The children did what they were supposed to do. They played within the rules. And when the game is supposed to start, you want to humiliate the child? You want to put these children, 17, 18-year-old young men, on the cover of the newspaper and call them a cheat? Like a Lance Armstrong? Like these grown men at Penn State? Like the Patriots deflating ball? You want to call a child a cheat? And there's such scorn that goes towards our children. I didn't know a child on that team, but it could have been mine, so I just showed up like Mr. Tillis did. And I'm going to leave a challenge before you, and this is how I know Pastor Raven. When are you going to show up and it's not your child? When are you going to show up? I'm going to invite them to come out the Rainbow Push one time, because I want to organize a Jackie Robinson West Appreciation Day. Our children deserved it. They've earned it. And I don't want to see another child humiliated. A feeling that's worse than anger. A feeling that's worse than fear. When you bludgeon a child. These children, that team, had 5 8th graders, had 7 7th graders, and had 1 6th grader. There was no team stacking. When you have 330 schools in the city of Chicago that they say are underutilized, and they have 195 on the south side, and they have 165 on the west side, this 50 schools that was closed is phase 1. If you don't get involved, you're going to be a part of phase 2, 3, 4, and 5. How did it happen? They've given developers a permit to opt out of being able to build in our neighborhood so we can integrate the neighborhood. Those children, it's not a minor consequence that they're all dark-skinned children. Beautiful, handsome, young, self-confident, dark-skinned children. Our neighborhoods now are hyper-segregated. Those children did not chase anybody away. The former white residents fled and left them alone. Then you get a double whammy between the services being pulled out. You remember in 1982 when the federal government had to come into the city of Chicago and sue the Park District for not putting services in all neighborhoods? Tell the children that they don't have volleyball, and that they don't have swimming, and that they don't have tracks and fields, all these things that have scholars. Tell the children they don't have tennis coaches, that we have security guards sitting in the vestibules of our schools and not track coaches and tennis coaches. Tell the children. When I go to these schools, they look like little pre-penitentiary factories. Hands up, turn around, look there, met with an officer. If they need security, bring the principal to the front door. How are you going to close a school, Mr. Mayor, and your children go to none of these schools? How do you deal with our children coming home crying? And you tell them your principal failed. Your teacher failed. Your classmates failed. You're from a failing school. When I was in school, we had to read about the scarlet letter. When you put an X on somebody's head and how you have that feeling of shame. Tell the children that life can be better, but it starts with us. Showing them that God is resilient. That God in these 400 years has never left us alone. We have to tell the children that the most dependable hand you're going to have in your life is going to be at the end of your wrist when you put your hand in God's hand. But God alone isn't going to do it for you. Tell the children that we've been here before, and now it's time to fight back. We can control our destiny. Our children have to know they don't need a safe passage. We need to have a safe community for all. If I had an egg and I crack it from the outside, everything in the egg will die. But if the child, like the thing that's in the egg, gets a chance to have incubation and have its proper level of gestation with the mother hen sitting on it, and it cracks from the inside, new life can be born. The chicken can live. Our children are getting bludgeoned upside the head. I don't want these children to have no shame. They said they cheated. When did they cheat? When they got up to practice? When did they cheat? When they listened to their coach? When did they cheat? When they got to the bat and they swung at the ball and took their strikes? When they ran the bases? When did they cheat? When they paid the fees? When did they cheat? It was only not until after they beat everybody standing in front of them how they been trying to be humiliated and scored. Those children aren't cheaters. They're made in God's image and they have character. When are you going to tell the children? I need to see some people standing up, not complaining about what we don't have, Pastor Raven, but focused on what we're going to do for a future generation. The child you save today may be the adult you're not afraid of tomorrow walking down your block. The child you teach today is the adult you don't have to try to retrain, reteach into the future because he already has a good foundation. The child you teach today, if you teach him some kindness, he's going to understand love.